The ultimatum. The summons came at dawn, Earth Standard Time. Ambassador Marcus Rivera read the message twice before setting down his coffee cup with trembling hands. After 60 years of peaceful coexistence with the Galactic Council, humanity was being called to answer for alleged crimes against the established order. The journey to the Council's central station took 3 days through hyperspace. Marcus spent every hour reviewing documents, treaties, and diplomatic protocols. His aide, Lieutenant Commander Yuki Tanaka, worked beside him in silence. They both knew this meeting would determine humanity's fate among the stars. The council chamber was a marvel of alien architecture, its crystalline walls shifting between transparent and opaque in rhythmic patterns. 23 species held permanent seats on the council, each one representing civilizations that had achieved faster-than-light travel centuries before humans discovered fire. Marcus stood in the designated circle at the chamber's center, feeling the weight of countless alien eyes upon him. Supreme Arbiter Korvax emerged from the shadows. The being stood 4 meters tall, its body a writhing mass of tentacles that somehow conveyed both grace and menace. When it spoke, the universal translator rendered its words in a tone that suggested absolute authority. Ambassador Rivera of Earth, you stand before this council to answer serious charges. Your species has been observed constructing military installations beyond permitted zones. You have developed weapon systems that violate the peaceful coexistence accord. Most troubling, you have refused council inspection teams access to your outer colonies. Marcus remained still, his expression neutral. Years of diplomatic training had taught him to show nothing until the moment was right. He waited for Korvax to finish the formal charges. The evidence is undeniable, continued the Arbiter. Surveillance drones have detected massive energy signatures from your Proxima colony. Our intelligence suggests you are building warships in direct violation of Treaty 7, Section 4, which limits defensive vessels to no more than 50 per system. A murmur rippled through the assembled delegates. The Vorthon ambassador, a silicon-based life form that resembled a living crystal, chimed in with harmonic tones. The humans cannot be trusted. They evolved on a death world, constantly fighting among themselves. Violence is in their nature. Marcus finally spoke, his voice carrying clearly through the chamber. The Galactic Council speaks of evidence yet provides none for examination. We are accused of building weapons, yet no inspector has actually seen these supposed violations. Earth has honored every treaty, every accord, every restriction placed upon us since our admission to this body. Korvax's tentacles writhed in what Marcus recognized as amusement. Your denial is expected but futile. The Council has already decided. You have 2 choices, Ambassador. Surrender complete authority over your colonies to Council oversight, with immediate disarmament of all military assets, or face the combined might of the Council Armada. The threat hung in the air like a physical presence. Marcus knew what the Council Armada represented. 23 species, each contributing their most powerful vessels. The Zephron dreadnoughts alone could reduce a planet to molten slag. The Vorthon energy weapons could destabilize a star. Against such force, what could humanity's modest fleet accomplish? You speak of choices, Marcus said carefully, yet offer only subjugation or destruction. This is not the democracy the Council claims to represent. Democracy applies to members in good standing, Korvax replied. Humanity's standing is now in question. You have 72 hours to provide Earth's answer. Choose wisely, Ambassador. Your species' survival depends on it. The dismissal was clear. Marcus bowed slightly, a gesture of respect he didn't feel, and turned to leave. As he walked through the chamber, he caught the eye of Ambassador Thren from the Kalari Republic. The insectoid being's compound eyes reflected something Marcus hadn't expected: sympathy, perhaps even regret. Outside the chamber, Tanaka fell into step beside him. She waited until they were in the secure human section of the station before speaking. They've already made up their minds, haven't they? Marcus nodded grimly. The Council fears what humanity might become, not what we are. They see our rapid advancement as a threat to their established order. He paused at the communication terminal. Send a priority message to Earth Command. Use encryption protocol Omega. While Tanaka worked, Marcus stared out the viewport at the assembled Council fleet. Hundreds of vessels hung in space like predators waiting to strike. The Council wanted humanity to see this display, to understand the futility of resistance. They expected fear. They expected surrender. Back on Earth, the message arrived in a bunker 5 kilometers beneath the Antarctic ice. General Patricia Wong read it once, then turned to her staff. Execute Operation Prometheus. All units, all sectors. The masquerade is over. Across human space, things began to move. On Mars, massive hangar doors that had been hidden beneath centuries of accumulated dust slowly opened. In the asteroid belt, what appeared to be mining stations revealed themselves as shipyards. Around Jupiter's moons, civilian research facilities dropped their camouflage, exposing military installations bristling with weapons. The truth was simple. Humanity had never stopped preparing for war. Every restriction, every limitation imposed by the Council had been carefully circumvented. Where the treaty limited military vessels to 50 per system, humans had built civilian ships with modular designs that could be converted to warships in hours. Where weapons development was forbidden, humans had pursued theoretical research that happened to produce functional prototypes. Captain James Chen stood on the bridge of the UES Resilience, a vessel that until 6 hours ago had been registered as a cargo freighter. Now, with its hidden weapon systems online and its true armor plating exposed, it was revealed as a battlecruiser that could match anything in the Council's fleet. All systems report ready. Captain, his executive officer reported. The fleet is assembling at the designated coordinates. Chen nodded. How many ships do we have? 473 combat-ready vessels, sir. Another 200 in reserve. The Council expects us to have maybe 60 ships total. A smile played at the corner of Chen's mouth. They're about to learn that humans have been playing a very long game. The key to humanity's deception lay in understanding Council psychology. The older species thought in terms of centuries, moving with deliberate slowness. They assumed humans, with their short lifespans, would be impatient and obvious in their actions. They never imagined that humanity would spend 60 years pretending to be weak, while secretly preparing for this moment. Dr. Elena Vasquez, Earth's lead weapons researcher, had spent her entire career developing systems that technically didn't violate any treaties. The Council had forbidden energy weapons above a certain output, so she had created kinetic weapons that could achieve the same destructive power. They had limited the number of military vessels, so she had designed civilian ships that could link together to form larger, more powerful configurations. In his quarters aboard the station, Marcus received a coded response from Earth. To anyone monitoring, it would appear to be a simple acknowledgement of the Council's demands. But embedded in the message was a single phrase that made his heart race. The Phoenix rises at dawn. 72 hours. That's all the time humanity needed to position its true fleet. The Council thought they were giving Earth time to surrender. In reality, they were giving humanity time to prepare for the most important revelation in galactic history. As Marcus prepared for another sleepless night of planning, he thought about the words he would say when the Council reconvened. They expected begging, pleading, perhaps an attempt at negotiation. They would get none of that. Instead, they would learn why humans had survived and thrived on a world that had tried to kill them every day for millions of years. Humanity didn't surrender. It adapted. It overcame. And when pushed to the brink, it revealed strength that no comfortable established civilization could match. The Council had made a fatal error. They had threatened humanity's freedom. Now they would learn what that truly meant. The revelation. The 72 hours passed like heartbeats for those who knew what was coming. In the Council chamber, delegates from 23 species gathered to hear Earth's response. Many came to witness what they believed would be humanity's humiliation. The Drakari delegation had even brought recording devices to document the historic moment when the upstart humans were put in their place. Ambassador Marcus Rivera entered the chamber with measured steps. This time he wasn't alone. 12 other humans followed him, each wearing the formal uniform of Earth's diplomatic corps. The Council members shifted uneasily. Protocol dictated that only the designated ambassador could speak. This breach of tradition was unexpected. Supreme Arbiter Korvax rose from its position, tentacles undulating with barely concealed irritation. Ambassador Rivera, you were instructed to come alone. This violation of protocol does not bode well for your response. Marcus stood in the center circle, his colleagues forming a semicircle behind him. With respect, Supreme Arbiter, the protocol states that an ambassador may not bring armed escorts or assistants. These individuals are neither. They are witnesses. Witnesses to what? Korvax demanded. To history, Marcus replied simply. He activated a small holographic projector, and suddenly the chamber filled with images, star charts, fleet positions, technical readouts that scrolled too fast for most species to read. Supreme Arbiter, members of the Council, Earth has considered your ultimatum carefully. The Vorthon ambassador interrupted, its crystalline form pulsing with light. Then you will surrender your colonies to our authority? No, Marcus said. The single word echoed through the chamber like a thunderclap. We will not. Korvax's tentacles darkened to a deep purple, a sign of extreme anger. Then you have chosen destruction. The Council Armada is already in position around your core worlds. Admiral Zex commenced the operation. The Zephron Admiral, watching via hologram from his flagship, began to give the order. Then he stopped. His 6 eyes widened in what could only be described as shock. Supreme Arbiter, we have a problem. The main viewing screen of the Council chamber activated, showing the space around Earth. The Council Armada was there, 500 of the galaxy's most powerful warships arranged in perfect formation. But they were no longer alone. Ships were emerging from hyperspace. Not a few dozen as the Council had expected from humanity's limited fleet. Hundreds upon hundreds of vessels appeared, each one bearing Earth's blue and green insignia. They came from every direction, perfectly coordinated, surrounding the Council Armada in a sphere of steel and determination. Impossible, breathed the Kalari ambassador. Our intelligence said you had 60 military vessels at most. Marcus smiled. Your intelligence counted military vessels. They didn't count the cargo haulers that were actually modular battleships. They didn't count the mining vessels equipped with mass drivers that could crack asteroids or enemy hulls. They didn't count the science ships whose sensor arrays had been redesigned as targeting systems. The numbers kept climbing. 600 human ships, 700, 800. The display showed their classifications, and the Council members began to understand the magnitude of their miscalculation. Heavy cruisers disguised as colony ships, destroyers that had been registered as orbital hospitals, an entire fleet of combat vessels that had been hidden in plain sight. You deceived us, Korvax accused. We survived, Marcus corrected. Every species here achieved dominance on their homeworld before reaching the stars. But humanity? We never achieved dominance. We survived alongside predators that could tear us apart, in environments that froze our blood or boiled our skin. We learned that the greatest strength isn't in domination, it's in adaptation. A new voice entered the chamber's communication system. Supreme Arbiter, this is Admiral Patricia Wong of the United Earth Fleet. Our weapons are powered but not targeted. We have no desire for bloodshed. But make no mistake, if you fire on our vessels or our worlds, we will respond with overwhelming force. The tactical displays showed something else that made the Council members shift nervously. The human ships weren't just numerous, they were strategically positioned. Every Council vessel was within range of at least 3 Earth ships. More concerning, the human fleet had somehow appeared at precisely calculated positions that would make retreat difficult. How? Demanded the Drakari ambassador. How did you build such a fleet without us knowing? Lieutenant Commander Tanaka stepped forward, breaking protocol but no longer caring. With respect, honored delegates, you assumed we thought like you. You measure progress in centuries. We measure it in years, months, even days. While you debated in this chamber, we built. While you sent observers to count our visible ships, we constructed hidden shipyards. You gave us 60 years of peace, and we used every second. But the true revelation was yet to come. Marcus raised his hand, and new images appeared. Images that made several Council members rise from their seats in alarm. The pictures showed human ships alongside vessels from other species. Not Council members, but the dozens of younger civilizations that lived under Council protection. For 60 years, Marcus explained, humanity has been making friends. The Rellan Commonwealth, denied Council membership for 3 centuries, has agreed to a mutual defense pact with Earth. The Ferox Alliance, whose application you rejected last year, stands with us. 17 species in total have signed agreements with humanity. Korvax's form trembled with rage. You dare form military alliances outside Council authority? We formed friendships, Marcus corrected again. Something the Council seems to have forgotten how to do. You rule through fear and control. We chose a different path. On the tactical display, more ships began appearing. Rellan cruisers with their distinctive swept-wing designs. Ferox attack craft, small but numerous. The scattered fleets of a dozen other species. each one previously dismissed by the Council as insignificant. Together, they added another 600 vessels to the gathering. Ambassador Thren of the Kalari Republic stood slowly. The insectoid's wings buzzed in what her species considered deep thought. The Council fleet is now outnumbered 2-1. And that's just what we're showing you, Marcus added quietly. Earth has learned that the best weapon is the one your enemy never sees coming. The council chamber erupted in chaos. Some delegates demanded immediate military action. Others called for negotiation. A few simply sat in stunned silence, trying to process how humanity had so thoroughly outmaneuvered them. Korvax raised its tentacles for silence. You think your numbers give you victory? The council's technology is superior. Our weapons have been refined for millennia. Your weapons were designed to fight the last war. General Wang's voice came through the communication system. We studied every battle the Council has fought in the past 1,000 years. Your tactics haven't changed. Your technology has plateaued. You've become comfortable in your superiority. To prove the point, Marcus activated another display. It showed a side-by-side comparison of Council and human weapons technology. While the Council's energy weapons were indeed powerful, humanity had developed countermeasures. Reflective armor that could disperse energy attacks. Electromagnetic shields that could deflect plasma bolts. More importantly, humans had developed weapons the Council had never considered necessary. Cybernetic warfare systems, Marcus listed, artificial intelligence-guided missile swarms. Quantum entanglement communication that can't be jammed or intercepted. Stealth technology that makes our ships invisible to your sensors until they choose to be seen. The Council banned research into these areas for yourselves, calling them too dangerous. We called them necessary. The ultimate shock came when the display showed Earth itself. The planet that the Council had dismissed as a barely habitable death world was revealed to be perhaps the most heavily fortified position in the galaxy. Orbital defense platforms hidden among commercial stations. Ground-based weapons capable of reaching into high orbit. An entire moon, Luna, that had been converted into a fortress. Every human world is like this, Marcus informed them. Every colony, every outpost. We didn't build to conquer. We built to ensure that no one could conquer us. Silence fell over the chamber. The weight of the situation was becoming clear. The Council had two choices. Engage in a war that would devastate the galaxy and that they might actually lose. Or accept that the balance of power had fundamentally changed. It was Ambassador Thren who spoke first. The Kalari Republic would like to propose a new motion. Rather than military action, we should discuss expanding the Council to include Earth as a full member, with all the rights and responsibilities that entails. Seconded, came a surprising voice. The Aloran delegate, ancient even by Council standards, had not spoken in session for over a decade. The humans have proven themselves. Not through conquest, but through preparation and alliance building. These are qualities the Council should value. Korvax's form rippled with conflicting emotions. The Arbiter had expected to humble humanity, to put them in their place. Instead, the opposite had occurred. You planned this. All of it. Marcus nodded. From the day we were admitted as a provisional member, we knew this moment would come. The Council's history is full of species you've subjugated when they became too advanced, too independent. We refuse to be another conquest. But we don't want war, Tanaka added. Earth's proposal is simple. Recognize our sovereignty over our colonies. Grant us full Council membership with voting rights and open membership discussions for the 17 species that have allied with us. In exchange, Marcus continued, we'll share our technological advances. Our medical research has already extended human lifespan by 200%. Imagine what it could do for other species. Our agricultural methods could feed worlds the Council considers barren. Our energy systems could power civilizations for millennia. The offer hung in the air. The Council could fight and risk everything, or they could adapt and potentially usher in a new age of prosperity. The human fleet held position, weapons powered but not aimed, a show of strength and restraint in perfect balance. Admiral Wang's voice came through once more. You have 1 hour to decide. After that, we'll assume you've chosen war and we'll act accordingly. The Council members looked at each other, seeing perhaps for the first time the fear they had instilled in so many other species. The comfortable order they had maintained for millennia was ending one way or another. It was the youngest member of the Council, the Parathi delegate who had joined only 50 years before humans, who stood up. I vote to accept Earth's terms. The galaxy is changing whether we like it or not. Better to change with it than be crushed by it. One by one, other delegates began to stand. The Kalari, the Eleran, the Parathi. Then others, slowly at first, then in greater numbers. Even some who had been hostile to humanity recognized the reality of the situation. Finally, Korvax itself rose. The Supreme Arbiter's tentacles had shifted to a color Marcus had never seen before. A deep blue that supposedly indicated profound respect. The Council yields to wisdom. Earth's terms are accepted. Humanity will be granted full membership, and discussions will begin immediately regarding the other species. The human delegation remained stoic, but Marcus could feel the relief radiating from his colleagues. They had done it, not through war but through the threat of it, not through submission but through strength. As the formal procedures began, Ambassador Thren approached Marcus. "You realize what you've done? You've changed everything." Marcus nodded. "The Council needed to change. You ruled through fear because you feared change itself, but the galaxy is vast and full of species that deserve a voice. And if we had chosen war," Marcus met the insectoid's compound eyes directly, "then you would have learned why humanity is the only species in known history to unleash nuclear weapons on itself and survive. We are capable of terrible things when threatened, but we prefer to build rather than destroy." The human fleet began to disperse, returning to their hidden bases and disguised positions. But everyone knew they were there now, watching, waiting, ready. Earth had not conquered the Council. It had simply shown them that conquest was no longer possible. In the coming years, historians would mark this moment as the beginning of the new galactic age. The age when humanity didn't just join the galactic community but transformed it. The age when the Council learned that true strength came not from dominion over others, but from standing together as equals. The Council had expected humanity to surrender. Instead, humanity had taught them a lesson as old as Earth itself. Those who prepare for peace but train for war are never conquered. And those who unite others through respect rather than fear build empires that last not through force but through friendship. As Marcus left the chamber, he thought of the billions of humans who would sleep more soundly tonight, knowing their freedom was secured. The Council had learned what every predator on Earth had learned over millions of years. Humans were not prey. They were survivors. And when united, they were unstoppable.